Welcome back to another episode of the Ark Switch Survival Guide. Today is part 2 of building this cool base that we're making on top of a really nice plateau in the jungles of the southern island. And check out that view, that is pretty awesome. So today we are going to finish building this base, which is going to be our main base on land, and we'll be living here for quite a while. Now on the last episode, we actually built the foundation for this huge building that we're going to be living in, and today we are actually going to build the walls, doors, and ceilings for this really huge building, which is going to be our main base of operations. This is also going to serve as a good place to protect our dinosaurs and just kind of spread out a little bit since we've been living on a raft fortress for quite some time. So be sure to watch the rest of this episode, and I'll show you a cool little sneak peek of what we're going to do in the episode after this one. If you stick around to the end, it's going to be pretty crazy, so be sure to stick around for that. Now, I will drop a link in the description to show you exactly where we are building. In my opinion, this is the best base location that we can get to in the southern part of the island, and it's located at 8050 right along the river, and it's this really nice plateau that overlooks the river and looks out over Metal Mountain, which is covered in metal and crystal. So it's a really good spot to build and live, and I'll put a link in the description to the video on where we found this and why I think this is the best base location in the whole south of the island. So be sure to check that out if you have not seen this yet, and it will also show you where to find this base location. Now, we're going to start right where we left off on the last episode, and I'll also put a link in the description for part 1 of building this base. We mostly just cleared out all of the nasty neighbor dinosaurs that were trying to kill us, and we built this foundation up on top of the plateau after bringing Bob the Brontosaurus up here. Now, Bob is the Brontosaurus that we did a Bob Ross painting on. It's pretty great, but you can't really see it from this angle. But right now, he is helping us tremendously because he is able to carry a ridiculous amount of supplies. And we just loaded him up with all kinds of supplies and all the walls and buildings and stuff that we made in another episode. And he just brought all that up here for us, so that was very helpful. Thanks, Bob. Now, I've got this dinosaur gateway, and I was going to try to see if I can maneuver the pillars a little bit to make it snap to them, because I've heard you can actually snap a dinosaur gateway to a pillar. But I think that may be a Structures Plus add-on that does that, because I can't seem to get it to work right now. I'm trying a couple of things. Now, I'm not exactly a building expert, and I'll be learning a lot more about building cool bases and teaching you about how to make a really nice-looking base later on. But for now, we're just going to do a really utilitarian box, which is going to give us enough space to live in. And we'll focus on kind of teaching you how to survive and thrive on Ark, and then we'll work on some of the aesthetics that you can just really settle in and make a really nice village and city after you've kind of conquered a lot of the Ark. So I've got that main gate that's set up there, and I always make sure that I build a dinosaur gateway facing outwards. And I also think I'm going to put a door on this side, so I'm going to snap some walls around this. But I always like to put the walls up first, so I've got a guy line when I'm placing my dinosaur gateways. And you always want to stand on the inside of your base and face outwards when you're placing these. Try to line it up as close as possible to the middle, and check both sides to make sure there's no cracks in the wall on the side of the dinosaur gateway. And that looks pretty good right there. And I'm going to place one more on this side because I want it to be really easy to get my dinos in and out of here. And to the right is the direction where my raft is going to be parked most of the time. So that way I've got a nice door. I can just take my dinos straight out that direction and head straight down to the raft. So that should be pretty good. I've got both of my dino gateways on this side. And over here we've got our main front door. So now I can actually grab the gates themselves and place those on there. So I think I've got those on this Bronto. Yep, there we go. Great. He's just able to carry so much stuff. It's really helpful. And I haven't even started buffing up his weight because we can't really protect him super well right now. So I've given him like 5,000 HP by giving him some levels in HP. So there we go. We're just going to place all of these and make sure they all open outwards like they're supposed to. And it looks great. So now I'm going to complete these walls and continue building out. And I was originally thinking about doing about a 2-story building, but I think I'm actually going to try to make this 4 stories, and that way I can have a second story for living on top of that first story. So I'll go ahead and leave the very center of this base open because I want a really nice big dinosaur gateway facing out the back so that I can take my flyers in and out of the base through the back there. And straight in front of me, if you look out, is this big mountain, and that mountain is usually referred to as Metal Mountain because it is just covered in metal, and it's the most accessible metal mountain and somewhat safe. I mean, it's not, there's no metal mountain that's safe except Herbivore Island, but it's one of the safer areas in the South Zone compared to some of the other mountains that are covered in T-Rexes and sometimes have gigas and all that crazy stuff. So this is going to give us a really nice view. Anytime we open up that back porch door, we can look out over the mountain, see if the metal has respawned. Now, I don't want to actually build on that mountain because first of all, it's crazy dangerous over there. But secondly, if you build too close to a metal node, it will never respawn. But if we are right here across from Metal Mountain, then the metal nodes will respawn, and once they've all come back, we can just go over there, take a team of ankylosaurs, get all of the metal, and then just come right on back over here with all of it, and it's a very short trip from this mountain to that one. But this plateau up here is very safe. So far, I have only seen some compies and pegomastax up here, and none of those are really a threat to you. You can punch them out pretty easily. They'll steal your stuff, but they're not too bad. So I'm going to go ahead and add these doors here along the walls, and I always like kind of putting the base walls all the way around a building so I can get a good feel for the size and dimensions. And this is coming along quite nicely. So I think I'll go ahead and continue these walls here, and we'll fill in this spot towards the front. And once we have the walls 2 stories high and made of stone, even a tyrannosaur doesn't normally hop over a 2-story wall, so we've got our dinos pretty safe up here. So my Bronto I'm not real worried about because he's pretty tough, and my Pteranodon is now completely safe inside this little area. So I'm starting to starve, and I'm going to go ahead and make a quick trip down to my garden and get a salad because I've always got a salad sitting there waiting on top of my raft. Now, I did a whole video on how to build a garden on top of your roof, and it is incredibly helpful. I highly recommend doing that if you want to always have a constant supply of food. And these vegetables will be really handy later on when we're making some custom recipes and other things like that. But as you can see, all I have to do is just land on the raft, eat 5 vegetables, and there are like a few hundred vegetables just sitting here, and then my food gauge goes all the way back up. And hey, check it out. Oh, come on. I was really happy because a Diplodocus got killed just passively by, I guess, walking too close to my turrets. And before I could grab it and get all the hide and meat and probably some good prime meat off the thing, that stupid piranha came and ate it. I hate those things. So usually my turrets kill off the piranhas, but he must have respawned on the other side of the dead Diplodocus and, was able to avoid being in the line of sight while he ate the stupid thing. Also, I don't really know how one tiny piranha can eat an entire gigantic Diplodocus, but whatever. Those things are just the worst. So I just buffed up the health on my Velociraptor like crazy because he had a whole bunch of levels ready since he's just been sitting here for a long time, leveling up passively. And when I filled up his health, I gave him a whole bunch of health, and it makes him flashing red when I'm riding him because he's got so much health, it actually counts him as being at like half health right now, which is kind of crazy. So I just like doubled the health on my Raptor. So I'm moving all of my dinosaurs up this ramp because now that I've got a nice, safe 2-story high stone structure, I can actually put them all in there, and even if something dangerous spawns on top of this plateau, we should all be very safe because those walls will protect them at this point. And I'm actually going to have my gathering dinos help me to clear off this plateau. As you can see here, it's kind of dense jungle, which is kind of annoying because I like being able to see really well. It makes it a lot easier to stay alive if you can actually see a predator coming. So I'm going to be clearing off a lot of trees and rocks and stuff that are just kind of cluttering up this plateau, and we'll make a nice flat area in the center to be a giant dinosaur pen. So that'll be really helpful. And my gathering dinos here are going to be able to help me clear off everything. So as soon as I stopped my Doedicurus from following me, he immediately smashed that huge boulder that's been in front of our base this whole time. So I love that about Doedicurus. You don't actually have to be able to ride them in order to use them to collect stone. As long as they follow you and you make them stop next to a boulder, they'll just smash the whole thing and get hundreds of stone. Now, he somehow stopped walking while he was like inside the foot of my Bronto, so I'm going to have to figure something out to move him. But first, I'm just going to knock down a few of these trees using my beaver, and as you can see, he just like knocks the whole tree down in no time and smashes it like crazy. So he's just a really awesome tree gathering dinosaur, and he'll get hundreds of wood in just a matter of seconds now that I've got his melee stats boosted up. So Chewy the beaver is incredibly helpful part of our team, and if you don't have a beaver, I definitely recommend getting one of those, and also a Doedicurus, because they'll gather hundreds and thousands of stone in just minutes for you. So now I've got all of my dinosaurs nice and safe up here, except Bob the Bronto, who's got tons of health, and he could probably take on a T-Rex at this point. So now that everyone is safe and secure from any attackers, I'm going to clear the land a bit, and I'll start by increasing the melee damage of my dinos that have gained some levels while they've just been sitting in the raft. So Chewy and my Doedicurus both have some levels here, and I'm able to use them kind of as mobile storage boxes in order to gather some more supplies. So that's really helpful. I can actually build just pulling stuff right out of these two. So I needed another dinosaur gateway, and I've got enough supplies between the beaver and Doedicurus just from what they had already on their inventory from grabbing just a couple of trees and boulders. So I went ahead and made another stone dinosaur gateway, and I'm going to place this right in the middle here. And it really helps when you're making dino gateways if you put the walls on either side so you can clearly see if you're actually going to be snapping it in the right spot. And that looks great. It looks really nice right here in the middle, and we don't have any major holes. So I'll go ahead and put the gate there. And now we've got this protected from all sides. None of the dinosaurs are going to fall out the back accidentally and go over the cliff, which is very helpful because dinos just kind of wander off cliffs sometimes while they're following you. They don't really seem to care very much about running off cliffs. It's probably because they don't take any fall damage unless you're actually riding them. So now everybody is nice and secure. So I'm going to just skip a little bit ahead because I moved a bunch of supplies around to get the weight of these two dinos empty. And I'm just running around and grabbing some of these trees, and it helps a lot if I jump off of the beaver and have him follow me because his weight is not super high and his melee damage is crazy. So he gets overweight really fast, and he can move a lot faster if I just ride him to the tree, cut it down, and then hop off and have him follow me back. It makes it so he's not going crazy slow if I ride him. So I just grabbed a bunch of wood, like probably a couple thousand, and now I'm going to run my Doedicurus down here and just smash a couple boulders. And I'm being really choosy about what I clear and what I leave. I'm going to smash down all the boulders so I can see really easily, and I'll be using those materials that I'm gathering to actually build more of the walls and ceilings of this base. But I want to leave some of the nice big trees along the edge on the outside because it just is a really nice aesthetic effect. I like having some trees and forests around, but that's just my personal preference. They will not grow back within about a 12 foundation radius of any foundations that I place down here. So I like keeping some of the trees just to look nice. And I'm going to go ahead and sit my two dinos next to each other, and then I can just grab some of the materials out of their inventory and then use those for crafting more walls and ceilings. So it's a really efficient way to gather if you have a beaver and a doedicurus. You just sit them next to each other and gather all the supplies you need. Now, if you need thatch, the doedicurus can actually smash trees to get tons of thatch. So between the two of them, we can get all the materials we need to finish this whole base. And I've got some materials down in the raft still, but I prefer to use the ones up here because I want to clear off the inside of this plateau. Even though I'm leaving a lot of the trees around the edge, I like to clear off the inside so I can see really well, and it's going to turn into a big, flat, empty area where I can put all of my dinos once I've totally secured this area. And I was originally going to make this base a little bit shorter, but I think 4 stories high would actually be a really nice thing because I can have 2 floors, each of them 2 stories high, and that'll give me a lot of room to spread out, and I can build a lot of my base stuff up top and then have my dinosaurs on the bottom floor. So this is going to work out pretty well as a living space, I think. And we'll just keep continuing to add furnishings and build this thing out. We may add some floors and, build out right and left to make it even bigger. But for now, it's going to be a pretty nice size and shape for what we need. And we mostly are just needing a place to let our dinosaurs spread out and have a main home base of operations. So I can't quite get a ceiling to snap to the top here because being 4 stories high, it's a little bit too tall for me to reach from the ground. And so I'm trying to fly around using my pteranodon to actually snap these down. But as you can see, building from a pteranodon's back is really difficult. But I think, okay, there we go. We finally got that hatch frame on the corner. And I'm going to see if I can land here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, great. And I was going to demolish this, but I think if I do, my pteranodon might fall over. So maybe I'm going to need to add some actual ceilings here. It's real difficult to actually set things up on top of a 4-story ceiling from a pteranodon's back. Now, if you have a tapehara, those are actually really good for building up high because they can hover and stay still and go forward and backwards in midair. So they're actually great for building on. Now, before I go any further, I realized I better place this hatch frame and actually put the door on it. Because anytime you're building, you want to build the ladders down from the hatch frame, and you always want to put the door on first, because if you put the ladder on first, you don't have any control of which direction that door is going to open. And if the ladder happens to be on the hinge side, your entire hatch frame and ladder just straight up won't work. So it's real important to place the door on first and then put the ladder on the opposite side of the hinge. Now, another thing about this pteranodon is he's got very low weight. Now, I really want to get a tapehara or Argent Avis very soon because the weight on this pteranodon is really limiting. He can only carry about 130 pounds, which only allows me like a couple of things that I can add to him. He can only carry like 5 ceilings at a time, where a tapehara has a lot more weight that it can carry, and an Argent Avis has tons more than even a tapehara. So those are both going to be really helpful if I can get a new flyer soon. But for now, I'm just kind of making do with this guy. And I think that'll be enough for me to actually land. And once I can land, this will be a lot easier to build this ceiling. Now, I want to get a ladder going down from that hatch frame, and once I've got that, I don't actually have to ride my pteranodon up here, which will be a lot easier. But I think that's going to give me enough. It's way easier to build off the back of a pteranodon when he's on the ground. And now I should be able to demolish this mistake door frame here. Here we go. Okay, great. And now I can actually see where the hinge is on that hatch frame. And now that I can do that, I can actually build some ladders going down. Now, you only need 3 ladders to go 4 stories down because you can actually reach the ladder even if it's not quite touching the ground. But as you can see, it's kind of snapping weirdly, and I want it to actually... Ooh, almost knocked myself off the cliff there. Gotta be a little bit more careful. So I want this to kind of hang off the side of the inside of that hatch frame. And ladders are really difficult to get them to glitch into the right spot. They always want to snap to other places. So let me see if I can get this here. Oh, there we go. Almost got it. Perfect. Okay. So that should give me what I need right there. And I'm going to see if I can climb down the ladder, because it's a lot easier if you can actually get on the ladder and build down as you're actually standing on it. But I don't think it's quite going to let me do that. So let me see if I can aim down a little bit. Perfect, okay. So now we've got a ladder that is 2 stories down, and I should be able to reach that from the ground. So I think I'm going to just take this guy down to the ground. Now, this cool little thing that I can do where I can actually pick up a ladder after I've placed it is not something that you'll have on Switch yet, but they are planning to bring that to all the consoles. And there we go, we got a working ladder. So that's part of the Structures Plus upgrade that Wildcard is bringing to Ark, and they're bringing it to PS4, Xbox, and I've already got it on PC in part. But they're going to be adding a lot of other really cool stuff with that upgrade, like triangle-shaped foundations and walls and ceilings. And as strange as it sounds, just having triangles as well as squares gives you an incredible amount of new building options. So I'm really excited for this Structures Plus upgrade, and that's supposed to be coming in the next month or so to all the consoles and PC and all that stuff. So I'll show you that once that comes out. And it might be part of why a lot of people are kind of worried about the DLC being a little bit delayed on Switch. Like, they were planning on having, Ragnarok and the Center be free DLC sometime around February 2019. And they announced that back in December, and nobody's really heard anything from them since. And a lot of people are getting worried. Now, I've always seen them really pull through and get pretty close to their deadlines whenever they've announced stuff. So they've actually been pretty good about that in the past. So I've got a lot of faith in the Ark developers for actually producing free DLC when they say they will, but I would definitely keep an eye out in the next month or two and just kind of see what we see. But usually they announce it and then pretty quickly it comes out. So I'm not too worried about that. We'll just have to keep an eye out. But, we'll do some cool previews for the Ragnarok and Center maps and show you guys what those are going to look like. And hopefully that'll make it a little bit easier while you're waiting for those to actually come out. So I'm unloading a bunch of stuff off of my dinos and getting all of them inside the base, and now we have every single dino in the base, and the entire thing is totally covered, and all we've got left is just to add a porch on this base, and we'll be in really good shape. So I'm going to run down and grab another salad and, fill up my food gauge here. But here we go, we are back up, and we've got the last bit of foundations and ceilings that we need to make a porch. Now, if you remember on the last episode, I built this so it had just enough room for one more foundation sticking out over the edge. And I did that on purpose so I can actually build a full porch all the way along the back of this base. And that's going to be extremely handy, first as an observation deck, but secondly as a landing pad for any flyers. And I'm eventually going to have an Argent Avis that can carry an Ankylosaur all the way over to Metal Mountain and just gather metal and fly him back over here. So this will really come in handy later, but for now it gives us a really amazing view, which I really enjoy. And that's pretty much the last thing that we need to do for this base for now. Now in the next episode, I'm going to show you a sneak preview of this crazy trick that I'm going to do, because while I was doing some stuff, I noticed a level 130 Tapehara on the mountain across from us, and I am going to try to tame a level 130 Tapehara using the easy taming method that I've figured out, which is kind of a crazy trick, but we are going to make it so angry we try to get it to follow us all the way back to the base. Now, if you've ever tried to tame a Tapehara, you know they're almost impossible to tame because the second they see you, they will fly away and you'll never see them again. But this technique is going to allow you to tame a crazy high level Tapehara, which will be really helpful. So be sure to watch the next episode. That should be really entertaining and very helpful for you. And if you enjoyed this episode, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We are just about to hit 1,100 subscribers, and if we do, my wife will join me for another episode of Let's Play Co-op Ark, which a lot of you really enjoyed, so we'll be sure to bring you more episodes of that if we get more subscribers, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks so much for watching this video from the Ark Survival Guide. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please like this video and subscribe to our channel so we can bring you more great guides like this one. Ark is an amazing game, but there is so much to learn before you can really enjoy it. We are dedicated to bringing you high-quality guides, tutorials, and Let's Play videos that are fun, helpful, clean, and suitable for the entire family. There's a tutorial in this series for everything we have done so far in this video. Check out these playlists for more episodes from this series and other guides to help you enjoy your journey on Ark.